Hello everyone, my name is Michael Caruso and this is my project presentation for Kinesiology 428, the aesthetics of human movement. And my project is on the aesthetics of human movement through snowboarding. And before I explain my experience, I feel like there's a need to define what the aesthetics of human movement and what it means to me. And through the course we learned a very clear definition, which means how our physical activity experiences can promote a life worth most living. And in that definition, I also think it's important to clarify what a life worth most living means. And that is enjoying every aspect of our life through physical activity so that we can grow, evolve, and mature. And through the course, we learned the 5 elements in order for our physical activity to be aesthetic experience. And those are invitations, possibility, planning, process, and then fulfillment. And in the first element, which is invitations, there needs to be a sense of impossibility or uncertainty. And through my snowboarding experiences, when I first began, I had very amount of uncertainties in whether I could achieve it, or I didn't know if I would be able to snowboard like everyone else. As I watched a lot of people before, they looked so professional at it, and I just had doubts in my abilities, and I eventually had the support of my family members, which they invited me into this experience of saying that how much fun it would be, and it would be a fun experience to do all together. And I finally took into the courage to try it, since everything was being provided to me, as I was blessed by my family members to get equipment for me. So that was a clear invitation into my experience of it. And in our adventure, there needs to be a sense of creation of a new experience, and this is what was presented with me when I first began snowboarding. Also, in our invitations, there needs to be a tendency of playfulness and seriousness. I experienced both of these. In the playfulness, I would go across any slopes and any type of grounding. I would just get lost in the process, essentially. And but I also know that I needed to be serious in my movements, because at any point I could become injured, because I was also just beginning in my physical activity experience of snowboarding and so forth. The next element of this type of human movement is possibility. And we learned that in invitations there's a sense of impossibility, but in possibility there's a sense of irresistibleness, and you can't really resist the physical activity, and just because of the experience behind it. And there's a sense of freedom behind it, and this is exactly what I experienced through my snowboarding. I would just get lost in the moment, and the only thing that mattered was that moment right now. Living in the moment of now was the most rewarding part of possibility for me. And I grew in my passion of snowboarding. My abilities grew, and they never stopped, because I had this sense of urgency to always improve, and my confidence grew as I learned more and more, and as my capabilities grew. I wanted to go on to new slopes, and I had the confidence because my abilities were growing as I went. So I knew I was ready. I just knew it. Okay. And in this possibility, we need to meet new horizons in us and our world. And I realized my capabilities and knowledge grew as I went on and through my experience of snowboarding. I realized that I was able to accomplish more. I was able to do a lot more than I was before. Before this whole experience, I was very close minded and was not very open to a lot of physical activity because I didn't think I could accomplish a lot in my life. But this whole mindset changed once I learned how to snowboard. And I always knew that I was capable of more than I really was. And this whole mindset just changed for me after, because as I went on the slopes, I would know that I can do this. This is nothing to me. I can accomplish this slope because of what I've been through and what I've experienced throughout my entire beginning of snowboarding. And in the next element of this next human movement, which is planning, development occurs. And development occurs through routines and rituals. So I developed as I went on, and in the beginning, my skills developed as I had very many difficulties in stopping, turning, and I would fall a lot because my balance wasn't very good. The only experience I had for this was skating on the street and a little bit of wakeboarding, but that was about it. So through deliberate practice and planning as I went, I knew that I needed to go on the beginner slopes and I needed to go up from there, right? And one day I decided to take a leap of faith. I decided, okay, I need to change something. Something in me told myself that I'm ready for something more. I wanted to improve. I wanted to develop. I just knew because I was just ready. And that's when my skills really took off. In this new experience, I was just adapting to everything around me. Just the nature around me, the slope around me, I was just gliding across. Everything I went through before in the beginning of the beginner slopes prepared me up to this moment. And my skills just flourished from there on. And I was just in control now. I had full control of my turning, stopping, and balance, and I had a undeniable confidence in my abilities, and this really changed my mindset of everything I believed in myself. And also through planning, our physical body changes. I was getting in shape. I was just feeling on top of the world because of the enjoyment of my physical activity as well. I was enjoying every aspect of it, and I wasn't noticing the physical body changes that was occurring through that moment. And that's really fascinated me, and I was just so happy. And through the fourth element of physical activity in aesthetics of human movement is process. And this is what we learned in the course of doing and also undergoing. And undergoing, we learned is a sense of aspiring to do something because our resiliency or persistence in it. And doing something is the easy part. I mean, we can do anything we want, but actually undergoing the process is the hard part, right? It's about taking chances and taking risks because we know that we are growing and maturing in our experience. And this is exactly what happened to me as I was falling a lot in the beginning. I didn't have a lot of confidence in my abilities because I saw everyone around me, they're having so much easier time with snowboarding than me. I didn't understand. But I knew that I needed to stay hopeful that I could accomplish snowboarding. And this is exactly what happened to me. And in the process, I had a lot of learning and improvements occurred along the way, and this is what made the process of snowboarding that much more rewarding to me, because when I learned and improved a lot, I had so much happiness in my life because I could accomplish what I set my mind to, and this is what meant the most to me. And in process, we learned undergoing is rewarding, and this really has got me reflecting on my experiences, and especially snowboarding. As I went on, I have undergone so much pain and suffering and blood, sweat, and tears throughout my physical activity experience of snowboarding. But now that I look back, it just means so much to me because I learned so much throughout that moment that I am the person now because of back then. And I'm a person to believe that everything happens for a reason, and we go through our past because to make us stronger, make us a better person today. And in the last element, which is fulfillment, we master our craft and become enlightened in our experience. And throughout all my obstacles and all my failures, I feel fulfilled because, again, through all those obstacles, we wouldn't be able to grow or evolve as a person if we didn't go through them. And this really means a lot to me. And in this fulfillment, we reach new realms, essentially nirvanas. And this is what happened to me when I learned how to snowboard and evolve throughout the process. I reached the new realm. I met new horizons of my capabilities and knowledge. I knew I was capable more of what I was used to, and that's the biggest part of fulfillment for me, is meeting new horizons, developing and transforming into the best version of ourselves. And through this sense of fulfillment, there's a sense of freedom, that we are now free in our physical activity because now we know we are capable of a lot more and have the confidence to achieve anything we want to or set our minds to. And as we went through the course, as Professor McLaughlin would say, that's all for now. It's an unending quest. We know that we can always improve, evolve, and I think that's one of the most important things to take away from this course. That, as we know, learning never stops, and we can always look to improve in our lives. And I think that's really rewarding and to me. And to know that without any obstacles without no obstacles in our lives, there would be no fulfillment. And that's what really sets this whole experience aside for me. And in closing, I would say that the best things in our lives occur by chance. And if there's no chance or risk taken in our lives, there's no growing or transformation. And these 5 elements lead us to a life worth most living. And I think that's important to take away. Also, we cannot see our potential if we do not get out there and live life. And if we are stagnant we're not growing as an individual. If we're not going out there and living life, then there's no growing or evolving in our life. We can't see how our lives can transform or reach new realms. There's no improvement. And we must take chances or risk in order to transform and live this life worth most living. And that's one of the biggest things I've taken away from this course. Hope all you have enjoyed this presentation. Thank you for watching, and have a great summer.